Hello and welcome to the Hour of Code. So we are going to be showing you how, or I am going to be showing you how to write some programs in the calculator, which can be a lot of fun and useful for formulas and things like that. So what we are going to be doing, so let me show you. If I quit out of here. We are going to be, oh, look at this, a handy another calculator to show you what's going to happen. We're going to be creating 3 programs. The first one is just us doing one like I just did with the welcome. We're going to say hello world. Now you can write whatever you want there, but traditionally your first program is to say hello world in your programming language. So whatever one you tend to use, that's what you're going to do. Then we're going to create the slope formula where we are going to make it easier for you to do the slope of a line, or average rate of change for those of you in other classes or others of you that call them different things. And then we are also, if you get to it, we are also going to do a short guessing game program so you can show you loops. And so I can guess the number wrong a bunch of times. And then when I get it right, yay, correct. So that's what my plan is. What you get to is what you get to. But this will be up on YouTube, so if you want to take a look at it. You can also search places, and this is just giving you a basics and helping you work around your calculator a little. But when you go online, there are, as you know, lots of different places that you can go to find out how to program and how to do lots of things. Programming is one of the easiest things to learn online. First thing, as you can see, this button right here is the button that's going to start us off. And this is where the PRGM for program is the one that's going to show us all the codes and things that we need to know. Now, just so you realize, when you do these programs, but someone resets your calculator, so I'm going to reset my calculator right now. So when you reset it for the regions, etc., you are going to lose all your programs. So either you can use a different calculator, so you don't lose your programs, or you can back them up, and you can back them up on your computer and things like that. So again, all that stuff is online. All right, so to create a new program, if you see my welcome program is gone, it's deleted. So to create a new one, you can hit the program button, go over to create new, and we create a new. So the first one I'm just going to call hello. Now see this A, how the A is blinking, and I'm sorry my hands are not the prettiest hands, I don't do them. The A that's blinking right here is alpha lock. That means all these little letters that you see in green, or whatever color your calculator has them at, when you hit the key, that's what's going to show up. So I'm just going to call it hello for hello world, because that's what I'm going to write. Okay, now we're in the program. Now we have the ability to edit. Each one of these colons is one line of code. If you leave a lot of spaces, it really makes no difference to the code or the calculator. So I like to space things out, but if you like it all mushed together, it really doesn't matter. The first thing that I like to do, and if you want to follow along with the handout that I gave you, this is the first program that we're going to be writing, and I'm going to show you how to do it. If you look on the back, you're going to see these codes. Now these codes just tell you what's in the menus that we're going to be looking at, the IO menu and the CTL, or the control menu. So if you look here, if I hit the program button, we have the CTL and the IO. So they're going to tell you, those are the buttons, you know, the hello, welcome to my life. They're going to show you, my handout shows you all the different things. But anyway, moving on. Okay, so what I want to do is display. So we're just going to simply move over to IO, and you can see choice 3 is display. And we need to put quotes around whatever we're going to display. So if I come over here and I just hit the quote, it's going to do the plus sign because that's what's on the key right here. I want the quote, so I have to hit the alpha. So I hit alpha, quote. Now I'm going to be doing a lot of that, so I don't want to have to hit alpha every time I run. So I can hit second alpha, and it'll lock it in the alpha position like I had before. But you have to unlock it to do numbers or to do these things. So just so you're aware. So now I'm going to just type my message. So here I'm going to type hello world. You of course can type what you desire. Hello. Space is here at catalog. That's what that little line bracket on its side looked like. It just means a space. And WOR. You get better at this the more you do it. So that's hello world. Now we can also pause it and clear stuff. So as you can see on my code that I gave you, I cleared the home first. Now what that means is I'm going to clear the screen. Now I can put it in this space up here, but it's only if you desire. However, since I'm trying to show you things, I just hit program. Then I go over to display or IO, and clear is choice 8. That's the clear home right here. So you can just hit 8 or scroll down to clear home. Now, I like spaces. I have issues with spaces. So if you want to insert something that, and you don't want to type over it, you can hit second delete. Now this works when you're in the y equals, when you're using this calculator at all. If you hit second delete, it allows you to not overwrite your code. So then I can pause it, which is program. I believe it's also 8 on the CTL. So I'm on the CTL menu and I go down to 8, and that's a pause. Now that it's a nice little trick just so you can see your screen so that it doesn't, clear on you in the middle of your program. And then I'll just do another clear home because that's what I wrote for you. All right, so there we go. In order to run this, let's see, I'm going to hit second mode, which is quit, and I'm going to run the program. So anytime you hit the program button, the first option that you have is execute. EXEC means execute, and I can execute the first program, which is the only one I have there now. So I hit enter. Say you want to run that. Yes, I do. There it is. It says hello world. Now these little dots that are running over here means that the program is still running. It's actually on a pause. So that's what the pause does. It just, waits for you to hit enter or whatnot. And then that means that the program is done. Now you can keep running this program by just keep hitting enter if you want. Okay, you can edit the program by going back to program. See the little edit right there. Move over to edit. And now you're back here, and you can come over here and say, hello, Barris, hello, Barrera. Whatever you want to do, it's there. All right. So I'm going to quit out of there, and we'll do the next program. So the next program is another way you can use it. Use the programming opportunities on your calculator by creating your formula. So this is going to allow you to create formulas so you don't have to type them in all of the time. So let's go and create a new one. So you hit the program, move over to new, and I'm going to call this slope, but it's also the average rate of change and all that. So finding the letters is slightly annoying, so give yourself a break and you'll get used to it. If you need to pause, whatever you got to do. Now I'm going to clear the home because I just like, if something else is there, I just like the screen cleared. You don't have to do this. This is just something I like to do. All right, now I have to input. Now, if you follow along with the second program on the sheet, you're going to go to input. Now that's, if I hit program, remember I get this screen. You only get this screen when you're actually editing a program. So if you're looking for it, make sure you're inside a program. Okay, input output, very first option is input. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow the person to type the slope, not the slope, but the points that will allow me to calculate the slope. So the first one, you know, the points are x1, y1, x2, y2. Now with the calculator, they don't really allow you to put variable names that are more than one letter or numbers or whatever. So I'm going to have to use x, y, and ab to write the formula. So this is just prompting them, and I'm going to show you what that does. I'm just going to do this a few times. So first I'm going to allow them to do x1, y1. Where's the 1? I got to do y. Good. I just use the colon. The colon is down here. Remember, anytime you want to type something with these little, in the green letters, you do have to hit the alpha button first. Then we hit a comma, which is right here, this comma, and then the Y. Ooh, I'd hit second instead of alpha. So give yourself a break. Give yourself, have a little patience when you're doing this. When you first start doing it, yeah, it's a little awkward, but the benefits far outweigh the, far outweigh the cons, because you might be rich. All the money that you make when you start programming and liking it. So I'm going to tell the person that they're entering x2, but I always hit the second instead. So, and I'm going to use A and B instead. It's just so that I have two different names for it. So I'm going to show you what you just did, so you kind of have an idea. And then if you haven't typed these in yet, you can type them in. So okay, so I'm going to run it just like this so you can see what just happened. So what you're going to see is x1 and then a colon, and it's going to pause there for a second because it's going to wait for you to enter these values. So that's called a variable. Pretty exciting. So in order, remember, to run it, I hit second quit. I have to get to this screen. Then I go to program, and now my new program that I created is right there. So I'm going to choose 2. And it's going to allow me to enter my values. So I enter my points. So 3, 6 is the first point, 9, 8 is the second point. Now I actually have to calculate it. So that's all we did. Now I have to go in and calculate the slope. So after we've entered it, now we have these numbers stored somewhere. The calculator is remembering them. Now we have to put them in a formula. Okay, and when we do that, we're going to remember this is programming, and it's the slope, so we have to do the y's. So remember, b and minus y. And we're going to store that. So this button right here allows me to store that value into a variable. So I'm going to store it into n. Alpha n. There it is. Okay. And then I'm going to do for numerator. N is for numerator. So remember, when we subtract the y's, that goes in the top, or the numerator. Now I'm going to subtract the x's. So that's a minus x. Store that, and we'll store that in D for denominator. Make sure you hit your alpha first. There we go. So I just did the top of the fraction. You remember, this is actually the slope formula. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Now I just have to divide them. So it's a little weird how you have to do each calculation separately, but if you do it, you really know your formulas well. So I'm going to do the numerator divided by the denominator. And I'm going to store that in, anyone want to guess what letter that is? M for slope. Final thing I need to do, now the computer knows this number, the number's in there, but you do have to display it or else you won't see it. And what use is that? So I remember I go into program, over to IO, and I went to 3 for display. No, I just did that twice. Okay, remember, delete just deletes one character, and clear deletes the whole line. So if you hit clear, you're going to delete your whole line, so just be careful there. And then I'm going to do M. Okay, it's going to display my M. Now, I like the pauses, and I like the clear. I don't know. Of course, this isn't really necessary for you to do, but you can. Program clear. That's 8 on, this one is 8 on the CTL, and that's 8 on the IO. So let's run it and see what happens. Now, you may notice that I did leave out one thing because I want to show you what happens without it. So I want to execute choice 2. So I'll put my numbers in. I got a slope of 0. Cool. So we can run it again. 5. Oh, let's run it again. 2. Excuse me. Sorry, I was coughing. Please ignore that. There we go. So 3, -6, 9, 8. Okay, so this is my slope. These are my points. Now, unfortunately, that is not a fraction, and we really, really do like fractions for slope. So that's why I left that off if you're following along on the worksheet. So, excuse me, let's edit. So, go to Program, go to Edit. Edit choice 2, which was my slope. Sorry again. Hope I didn't freak you out. And down here, when we display it, we want to display it as a fraction. So if you remember how to change a decimal to a fraction on a calculator, it's the same thing we're going to do here. We're going to hit Math, and then right here, Enter, and that's all we need. So we're going to say whatever m is, just make it a fraction. So any of the commands that you have here, you can use in your program. You just have to practice, and you're not going to break your calculator if you do this. All else fails, you just reset. Okay, so let's second quit, and we'll see that. And we'll run that program again. And I hope I do a fraction. I'm not really paying attention. There we go, 11/3. So instead of a decimal, like 9.6 repeating, it gives me 11/3, which is what we like. And it's totally reduced. It's completely reduced, so you don't even have to worry.